بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
اللهم إنه قد طال أمد البلاء واشتدت بهم اللأواء ولا ناصر لهم إلا أنت ولا مغيث لهم إلا أنت ولا معين لهم إلا أنت يا ملك.
Historically, the land of Sham consisted of Jordan, Lebanon, Palestine and Syria, the latter of which formed the bulk of this blessed region. In May 2011, protests broke out across Syria as citizens sought change. As thousands marched in the streets, the authorities responded brutally. Civil unrest then turned into civil war. The past 2 years have seen unrelenting violence, suffering and displacement. Tens of thousands have been killed and many more incarcerated and tortured. 3 million Muslims inside Syria today are displaced, while the number of refugees who have fled to neighbouring countries stands at 1 million. Massive levels of poverty and hardship have ensued. Ummah Welfare Trust, launching its appeal in early 2012, began relief work with the advent of Ramadan. The charity's early focus was to Syrian refugees who had fled through the country's southern border to Jordan. For Ramadan, iftar packs were distributed to tens of thousands of families who had migrated to towns across the country. Using local distribution centres, refugee families were invited to receive their provisions. Particular attention was given to widowed and orphan families. Many had travelled for days to flee the violence. In every emergency phase, Ummah Welfare Trust provides kitchen utensils with its dry rations. Utensils here consisted of pots, plates, cutlery, wash items and more. Hygiene kits and nappies were also provided to families when required. Alhamdulillah, across Jordan, a total of 24,000 families received food provisions. A further 4,000 kitchen sets and hygiene sets were distributed. Inside Syria, for Ramadan, thousands of suffering families from Homs, Damascus and Aleppo received food provisions. For Eid al-Adha, a total of 50 cows and 108 sheep were sacrificed, and its meat distributed to besieged families inside Homs, Damascus and Aleppo. For the winter months, hundreds of families living in Aleppo and the northern areas of Idlib received blankets, clothing, an electric heater and Islamic items. To deal with the bread shortage that winter, 50 tons of flour were transported from Turkey and distributed in northern towns across Syria. Hunger was not the only concern. In response to the massive civilian casualties that have been suffered, thousands of emergency medical kits have been provided to centres and families, and they continue to be so. With the arrival of spring 2013, Ummah Welfare Trust has continued its distribution of food rations to families newly affected by the violence. Large-scale food distributions covering Hama, Homs, Idlib, Aleppo, Damascus and other areas have been rendered. Since its appeal launch, approximately £2.4 million has been spent, providing relief to our brothers and sisters in Bilad al-Sham. We ask Allah to accept this small effort. Violence in Syria is now well into its third year. The oppression has taken its toll. In just 2 years, an estimated 40,000 orphans and 17,000 widows have been created. They now populate the many camps and relief centres. In a new phase, Ummah Welfare Trust will establish a camp in Akrabat in Idlib province for displaced, widowed and orphaned families. A large and unique camp, it will cater for the widows and orphans' every need, inshallah. Families will be provided with mattresses, clothing, blankets, kitchen utensils, hygiene kits and given freshly cooked food twice a day. The camp will also have a masjid, free schooling for children and segregated toilet facilities. 20 water tankers, each with a capacity of 2 tons, will ensure there is a permanent supply of water. The total cost of constructing this camp and providing for every family is £170,000. Ummah Welfare Trust asks you to donate generously for this new project and help bring comfort to our widowed sisters and orphan children. You can donate your zakah, sadaqah and lillah for this effort. Ummah Welfare Trust asks Allah, glory be to Him, to reward its donors in multitudes for their continued generosity. Let us continue on this noble path and ensure that our brothers and sisters in Bilad al-Sham always have our support.